Hi everyone, this is question 2 from 2023 A-Level Statistics for Edexcel. A machine fills packets with sweets and 1/7 of the packets also contain a prize. The packets of sweets are placed in boxes before being delivered to shops. There are 40 packets of sweets in each box. The random variable t represents the number of packets of sweets that contain a prize in each box. State a condition needed for t to be modelled as a binomial with n as 40 and p as 1/7. Okay, so I think the first thing, there's couple of options we could have here. We could either have that the probability of a packet containing a prize is constant. So I think that's probably one of the really good ones to go with. I think I would go with that one. Or you can have that the prizes must be placed in the packets randomly. So either one of those two would be an acceptable answer for part A. A box is selected at random using t is binomially distributed 40 1/7. Find the probability that the box has exactly 6 packets containing a prize. So when you've got exactly, that means the probability that t is equal to. So when you put it into your calculator, remember you need to use the binomial PD, not the binomial CD. Okay, so PD for equals. And you should get the value 0.17273. Okay, so that's our value that we should get there when we put that in. Okay, now find the probability that the box has fewer than 3 packets containing a prize. Now less than 3 is the same as less than or equal to 2 in the binomial. So this time we need to be, for that one it's binomial PD, this one is going to be binomial CD, the cumulative distribution. So therefore, we're going to put 2 in, and you should get 0.061587 as your value there. Okay, 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗃 Sweet Shop buys 5 boxes of these sweets. Find the probability that exactly 2 of these 5 boxes have fewer than 3 packets containing a prize. So we've got a new binomial in which we've got the n is the 5 boxes that have been bought by 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗃 Sweet Shop. And the probability that we're going to have is the probability of any box containing fewer than 3 packets that have a prize. Okay, so in other words, basically this probability that we calculated here in the previous part of the question. So that's going to be our new binomial. There's 5 boxes for our n, and our p is the probability that a box contains fewer than 3 prizes. So we want exactly 2 of these boxes to fit this criteria. So we want to work out the probability that, I've called it p for this distribution, the probability that p equals 2. Remember that's going to be binomial PD because we've got equals 2. And when you put that in with that as your n and that as your p, you get 0.031344 as your answer there. Okay, finally for this question, 𝗀𝗃 claims that the proportion of packets containing a prize is less than 1/7. A random sample of 110 packets is taken and 9 packets contain a prize. Use a suitable test to assess 𝗀𝗃's claim. You should state your hypothesis clearly and use a 5% level of significance. Okay, so our hypotheses are, we're going to have well, first of all, we're going to need to define our test statistic. So I'm going to say let x equal the number of packets that contain a prize. Now we're going to have our null hypothesis is that the probability is 1/7, and our alternative hypothesis is that the probability is less than 1/7. Okay, so we found that there was 9 packets that contained a prize. So we want to work out the probability of x is less than or equal to 9. Okay, we use less than because we're investigating here in a one-tailed test. The probability it's less than 1/7, so you'd use less than in the inequality symbol there. So we work that out. Less than or equal to 9 gives us 0.03827. So now we need to compare that with our significance level. So 0.03827 is less than 0.05, which means that we're in the critical region. And if we're in the critical region, we're going to be rejecting HO. So there is sufficient evidence to reject HO. And there is therefore enough evidence to support 𝗀𝗃's claim. So just to say that again, we were in the critical region, which means because our 0.038827 is less than 0.05, which means that there is sufficient evidence to reject HO. And that means that there's enough evidence to support 𝗂𝗎𝗄𝗃. Perfect. I hope you found that helpful, and I will see you in the next video.